Anyone who watches my videos knows that recently I've talked about the intimidation factor of your chosen concealed carry weapon. Now, I got a lot of negative response to this. I got a lot of emails from people stating that they think that I'm usually so considerate in my opinions. I'm usually pretty conservative, conservative to moderate in my views of concealed carry and how one should behave while doing it. And they felt that this was a pretty extreme opinion from someone like myself. And I don't agree at all. I don't think it's extreme at all. I think it's just realistic. And I think the intimidation factor is one thing you cannot ignore when you're talking about your concealed carry weapon. I mean, when you pull your weapon, if you are actually being attacked and you pull your weapon, your goal is to stop the threat. What stops the threat? They become intimidated by the fact that you now have a weapon and you can defend themselves. Once they realize they don't have the upper hand, that it's going to be them on the ground, not you, that intimidates them to stop and flee. So that is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about pulling your gun out when you get into an argument with someone at a truck stop or at a baseball field to say, okay, listen, my opinion's more important because I have a gun. That's just stupidity. I'm talking about once you are actually justified in drawing your weapon, once you are under attack, you are in danger, or you have reason to believe you are in danger, and you pull your weapon. From that moment that you draw the weapon to the time you actually have to fire it, there is a window of opportunity there. That opportunity is for the attack to cease without there being any bloodshed. And that's what we all want to take advantage of. And you want to do everything you can that in that opportunity, between that space of drawing your weapon and using your weapon, you want to take every chance you have in that area to end the threat without having to pull the trigger. So, one of the things you can consider for that space is the intimidation factor. Let's say I'm going to draw my weapon on you. Which one of these is more intimidating? Which one of these are you more likely to recognize as a threat? Is it the little 380 or is it the 45? Just honestly, which of these is more intimidating? And it's not just the fact of, oh, this one's a bigger bullet and it's going to make a bigger hole. It's the fact that this is much more easily recognized as a firearm. I mean, you see this, you know, oops, there's a gun. You know, you see this, you see my hand and some metal. You may not notice that's a gun. This one, that's pretty obviously a gun. So when you come down to it, recognition that it's a firearm is a big part of the intimidation factor. Now, if you got someone who knows guns, they're going to see that bigger hole and they're going to notice it more intimidating. Now let's take it another step. Which of these is more intimidating? Both have big old holes on them. The one on the left the one here actually looks like it's more intimidating because you see a bigger hole. But I actually think this is more intimidating. Not only do you see that big hole pointed at you, but you see bullets as well. And you know, oops, those can go in me. So, especially if you know anything about guns, I think this is, and plus, what's more recognizable as a firearm than a revolver? So, between these two, both of these are pretty intimidating, to be honest. I wouldn't want either one of them pointed at me. I wouldn't want the 380 pointed at me. But when it comes down to when you're trying to utilize a few seconds of opportunity, not even a few seconds, like a second or less than a second of opportunity. When you're trying to use that, you want as much on your side as possible. That recognition that it's a firearm, that recognition that it's deadly, and that intimidation that causes them to back off, that can be your greatest weapon.